I think a lot of my life I spent believing that I was not worthy. In grade school, I always struggled with learning and math. I hated math so much, and I had this label over my life that I was stupid. After all these tests were done, I remember meeting in this conference room and finding out that I had a learning disability, and I just remember feeling super ashamed, not wanting anyone to know. I remember each day at the high school I was attending, these two kids would always call me Miss Piggy, and it always hurt so much when they called me that. I hated being singled out, for one. I hated that. I really think that's where I started to isolate myself more and hide more when I would experience sorrowful moments. I just would hide and want to be alone, and I didn't want anyone to know. I was always fearful that I was not doing the right thing. I didn't feel like I was measuring up a lot of the time. I didn't trust that my salvation was sealed and that I was okay. I felt like I just didn't measure up, and I always had to be in good graces with the Lord, and just made me fearful a lot of life. I excelled in music. I know I have a good voice and I know I'm gifted in that way, but I've never really believed that I am good enough in that way. Even going into college, I tended to not try hard enough because I just didn't believe that I was good enough. And so it almost gave me this sense of I shouldn't have any hope that there's anything good for me. And I don't know, I just carried around this sense of I'm just not good enough for anything. Honestly, the ending of my relationship with my fiance at the time, I actually knew from the get-go that he was not the one that I was supposed to marry. I knew, but I went along with it because I really think that was where the Lord wanted to do a huge work in my life. That was my first relationship out of the gate. I'd never dated anyone else. I wanted to get married, and I wanted this dream to be fulfilled finally. And I felt and heard the Lord say to me that I needed to end that relationship. So I did, and it was not easy, but I felt like He had more healing for my heart. And the sadness and things that I've gone through in my life, He had more work that He needed to do in my heart. I had actually started attending these Tuesday night meetings with a group of gals that meet, and I was with these ladies through all of that, and they were such a huge support and encouragement to me, praying for me and just being on my side through it all. They were with me in that grieving time. They just were with me and reminding me of who God is and reminding who I am. Just recently, I've started realizing that these are lies from the enemy that I've been believing for so much of my life. Honestly, it's just been recently where I've realized that this lie that I'm stupid and not worthy, I've just realized that those are not things that the Lord would say. They're not coming from our good Father. They're not at all. It's huge, and it's been a big thing in my life recently of being honest and vulnerable, especially with the Tuesday night gals. I've started being more courageous when it comes to sharing about certain areas of my life, and just being bold and sharing those and trusting that no one's gonna walk away when they hear it. They're still gonna love me for me. Well, there was a moment that actually that happened not too long ago when I was in small group at the planting, and for the first time in my entire life, I had this visual of, and I felt it almost too, of the Lord taking his arm and wrapping around my shoulders. And I will never ever forget that moment of just knowing that the Lord was with me in this struggle, and He wasn't gonna leave. I felt like He was saying, it's gonna be okay, Megan, it's gonna be okay. And I just could feel it, and I could see it too. It's just this moment I'll never forget. I really felt for the first time that the Lord was saying He's with me in this. And I really feel like I've been starting to finally hear that, like, and believe that the Lord is with me in the sufferings that I go through, and was with me even through all of the sadness and the times in grade school and elementary school, all of those rough times. I've never really been alone at all. I am a daughter of a good father. I am anointed and I'm set apart. God has a really good future in store for me, that I am worthy and that I'm chosen too, in whatever the future holds.